Good morning, YouTube. I'm gonna turn on Instagram, pardon the view. Morning, Instagram. Welcome to yoga with Alexis. That's me. Where I am right now, it's Sunday morning, and it's about to be a very hot week. Today is the first day of 90+ degree weather with no end in sight. So I'm going to try to stay cool this morning, but we're going to work on hips. If you're coming in and seeing this and you have any requests, let me know. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Bethany. Good morning. Also, I think there's going to be an announcement about this tomorrow, but Flex and Flow classes will start being on Zoom entirely soon in August. So that'll be really exciting. We'll be able to have two-way video if you want. Stay tuned for that announcement. There will be a lot of information about how that will work. Hi, Barb. Good morning. Thanks for coming. Okay, it's 9:30. Cool. Let's do yoga. If you need anything throughout class, I'll try to check chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to be practicing with you. We're all going to do our very best. So I'd like you to start today in child's pose, if that is safe in your body. If child's pose isn't safe, you can lie face down on your belly with your legs extended, and then one palm stacked on top of each other and your forehead resting on the back of your hand, which is alligator pose, I think we'll call it. Crocodile. Or start any way that you want. Child's pose, it is available to you. I don't know if any of you listen to music while you take these classes, but if you're on your computer, you can put on a playlist also, and that can be really fun. Flex and Flow shares a bunch of playlists in their newsletter. I've been enjoying that a lot. So as you come into child's pose, heavy hips and long arms, long rib cage. Allow the muscles in your face to soften. And just notice what starts to come up. This can be really triggering for low back stuff if your knees are out wide. So you can always bring your knees closer together just to put a little less accentuation in the low back. And I've been thinking a lot in my practice lately about habits. As you develop a sustained yoga practice, often most of our habits in asana or in our bodies are very unconscious. My teacher once observed in teacher training that I did that in all likelihood the reason that one side of my body is tighter than the other chronically is because I always get on my bike using the same leg. And there are these patterns in our daily activities that we just are hardly aware of. And when we come to our mat, they're so deeply ingrained that oftentimes we underestimate the degree to which we are asymmetrical. And I bring this all up just as a one-pointedness mantra. One-pointedness being this idea that you can focus your mind on a single effort. Ultimately, when you achieve nirvana, it's just oneness with all things, but the practice to getting there is choosing themes to focus on and practice concentration and start to be an omniscient observer of thoughts and judgments. So in class today, I'm going to be hyper-focused and obsessed with the pelvis and being level in your pelvis. And I think that I'm coming up to a decade of practicing yoga, and I've been filming my home practice, and it's pretty amazing to see the imbalance in my pelvis, even when I really think that I'm level. So I'll also offer you ways that you can self-correct and observe your own posture without a mirror or a video. But feel free to video yourself too if that intrigues you. A couple more breaths in child's pose. If you haven't yet, start to breathe with the full capacity of your lungs. And get a little heavier in your hips. Just notice each side of your hips. Just what's there, what sensations you have. Good morning, everyone. And then on an inhale breath, allow the fullness of your lungs to be like balloons in your torso, hoisting you up to tabletop. Like helium. Oh my gosh, you're so light in the lungs and the ribs. And pause in tabletop. And really deliberately start to send your left hip back and your left shoulder forward. So you're side bending, getting longer in the left side by sending your left hip back and your left shoulder forward. You should feel a little bit of compression in the right side body and a lot of length in the left side body. And then come back to center and just do the opposite side. Right hip goes back, right shoulder goes forward. And note how I'm cueing the right hip going back, but not the left hip going forward. So see if you can move the right side of the body without changing any of the structure on the left. And then come back to center and do that a little bit more quickly. Inhaling, lengthen the right side, the left side. Exhaling, come back to center. And then inhale, right side. Exhale, center. One more round. And then come back to neutral and gaze at your pelvis and just notice you have these hip creases at the top of your thighs. You have where there are these bony points that stick out, and then a crease that goes down to the pelvic floor. And then the outer hips, depending on your physiology, you might see a little bit of shapeliness there. So these are just landmarks that you can use for your own visual cues as you're practicing, as you look at your pelvis. And just notice, does the inseam of the left leg look longer than the right leg or not? Maybe you feel really even, and you might just kind of gently move the pelvis in circles and just notice how your pubic bone moves. And we just do this so involuntarily so much of the time. We just don't think about it. So you're going to keep your right hand planted and your left shin and knee planted, and you're going to keep your pelvis neutral, so trying to keep those hip creases exactly parallel, the same distance from the floor. And then you're going to inhale, extend your right leg back and your left fingertips forward. And just watch the stability. You might even start with your left hand down, and notice how weight shifts towards the left, and just absent-mindedly, you're jutting that left hip out slightly. Try to pull that back to center. And you'll find balance by using the strength of your right leg. So instead of having what's touching the ground holding your weight up, allow your right leg to hold itself up by squeezing your hamstrings, squeezing your quads, squeezing your right butt, flexing the right foot, and then hug your navel in towards your spine. And you can look at your pelvis and just watch as you allow your weight to shift a little bit side to side, how the height on the right side of your pelvis will shift. Left arm extends when you can as an inhale, and then exhale, left elbow to right knee. Squeeze it in, really round through the spine. This entire time, inhale, focus on your pelvis, extend your leg and your arm. This time, bend your right leg and reach around and maybe capture the top of your right foot if you can, or just reach back and hug the right heel up as high as you can. If you can't get the bind, no big deal. Push the foot with the hand if you have it, and then release as an inhale breath. Exhale, squeeze elbow to knee. 2 more rounds. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, bend the right knee and reach back. Notice how hard it is to focus just on one part of your body the whole time. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, reach. Last movement here. Try to keep your left hip high, your right hip low. Reach long as a breath in. And exhale, lower the left hand and the right shin down. Maybe shake out the right wrist a little bit. And you can find those little side movements again, side to side. And then we'll switch to the opposite side. So this time, your left hand is your base, right shin is your base. Maybe you keep your right hand down as you inhale, reach your left leg back. And just immediately, as I reach my left foot back, my left toes want to turn left. So one way to keep the left hip down and level with the right is keep your left toes pointing straight down, and then use the muscles in your left leg to lift the leg. Don't use the hip. You don't need to move the pelvis at all. And then your right arm reaches long. Engage your low belly. Take a big breath in. Exhale, elbow to knee. Squeeze it in, round through your spine. Inhale, reach your right arm long, left leg long. Try to keep your pelvis stable. And then reach back with the right arm. Maybe capture the top of the left foot if you can. If that feels like too much, just reach the arm back and bend into the left knee. Kick into the hand if you have the bind. And then inhale, reach long. Exhale, hug your right knee, your right elbow to your left knee. Last round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend and capture. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, lower hand and knee down. Rock around your head, rock your hip side to side a little bit if you need. Take a big breath in. And then tuck your toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. So whenever you have your gaze like this, you can look all the way up at your pelvis. And just watch how the shape of the upper legs and the lower abdomen shifts as you shift your weight side to side, as you push one foot in or the other. And they might be really, really subtle movements, but you just start to get familiar with your anatomy by observing. You might want to pedal out the heels a little bit, get long in the calves. Just feel out your first downward facing dog, maybe of the day. If you have extra space in your mind, keep your awareness on your breath. There's only 2 things you need to be thinking about in class today, and that is your pubic bone and your breath. an inhale, sweep your right leg high to the sky. This is a great example of a time where you might inadvertently just open the right hip and start lifting it, but really we're working on keeping the right hip closed here and lifting with the strength of the back of your right leg. So turn on your hamstring and your calf and lift a little bit higher. You should feel a lot of length through the inner left thigh and your left hamstring. One more inhale. Exhale, squeeze your right knee to your nose, round through your spine. Again, trying to keep the left hip high. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, bend your right knee and stack your hip. This time, watch what happens in your body as you open the right hip. Your right shoulder wants to open, and more weight is dumping into this left side. So to come back to center, think about reintegrating strength in your right arm, getting longer through your left side. One more inhale. Exhale, squeeze your right knee to nose. Last round, inhale, right leg high. Starting out moving really slowly this morning, but we'll pick it up. Exhale, bend the right knee, open through your hip, keep your right shoulder down. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Plant your right foot between your palms. Dip your hips, lift your chest as much as feels okay. Just warming up, so be gentle to start. Hug your right heel back towards you and feel how that pulls the right hip back. And strengthen the left leg so your left hip stays lifting. And then big step forward to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way to stand, strong legs. Think about squeezing your butt as you come up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your right foot back. Stay for your exhale. Think about pushing down into the left heel. Keep your right hip lifting, and then step the left foot back, high plank. Hold your high plank, or take mountain climbers for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. High plank, inhale. Lower halfway or all the way to the belly as you exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Notice which foot you flipped over first. Exhale, downward facing dog. More than likely, you're flipping the exact same foot over every time you vinyasa, and you have asymmetry in your body because of that, like significantly. So just start to notice what the patterns are. On an inhale, sweep your left heel high to the sky, three-legged dog. Pause. Look at your pelvis. And can you get your left hip low and in line with your right? But your left leg is still lifting really high. So it requires a lot of hamstring length to get the left leg lifting without bringing the flexibility of your hip joint into it. Let's take one more inhale. Squeeze your left hamstring. Exhale, left knee to your nose, round. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, start to bend into your left knee and deliberately open through the left hip. And notice how the weight shifts. Try to get longer in your right side body and stronger through your left hand. One more inhale. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. One more round. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bend and open. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, knee to nose and step your foot between your palms. Dip your hips down, lift your heart. Inhale, cow lunge. And every time, every pose, there's this opportunity to find balance in your hips. Hug your left hip back and down, and your right hip lifts up and comes forward. So you're scissoring the legs, like imagining your legs are the arms of scissors pulling towards each other. Take one more breath in. Step the right foot forward, forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, rise all the way to stand. Arms touch, palms touch overhead. Exhale, palms touch at heart center. Samastitihi. Try to stay very balanced and stable in your legs. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Low lunge, step your left foot back as you exhale. Root down into the right heel. Lift your left thigh. Opportunity in low lunge to find height in that left hip and sink into the right hip. Take a breath in, step your right foot back, high plank. Hold high plank or mountain climbers for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High plank, inhale. Chaturanga if you want it. Use the opposite foot into your transition back bend. Exhale, down dog. All right, we're gonna pick up the pace. Right leg high to the sky as an inhale. Right hip keeps low. Exhale, bend into your right knee, open through the hip. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to nose. Step your foot between your palms. Right here, hug your right hip back, lift your left hip. As you seek your pelvis, inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Rise to stand, inhale, breath. Hands to heart center, exhale. Inhale, arms sweep very wide and up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Step the right foot back, exhale, low lunge, even hips. Inhale, high plank. Maybe you keep the left leg hovering. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Squeeze your butt. Exhale, lead with your hips. Downward facing dog. Left foot sweeps high to the sky, big breath in. Bend your left knee, open through your hip, big breath out. Inhale, right leg, left leg high, excuse me. Exhale, knee to nose, step your foot through. Lift through your right side as you dip your hips down. Keep getting longer through your right side body. Right hip steps forward, forward fold, exhale. Inhale, rise all the way to stand, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Plant your hands, step your left foot back. Breathe out. Keep your left hip high and your right hip lowering. And then inhale, right foot steps back, maybe three-legged plank into your Chaturanga. Skip these vinyasas if you don't need them. Downward facing dog. Okay, we're gonna add on. Hopefully you're feeling warm and doing okay. When you're ready, right leg sweeps high on an inhale. Exhale, bend your right knee, open through your hip, keeping your left side very long. It gets harder to maintain this meditation as class goes on. So really stick with the integrity of the focus. Right knee to nose, step your foot through. This time, drop your left knee all the way down, arms sweep up overhead, Anjaneyasana variation, and pause. This is a really great opportunity to just check out where you're at in the pelvis. So because my hip flexors are so tight, it's very difficult for me to actually lift my hip up. I feel this intense sensation on the outer front side of my left hip. Okay, that's where I'm working. And the other way to work through this, besides grounding the left shin and trying to get long through the left side, is by sinking into your lunge in the right leg, keeping your right heel really heavy, and imagining that this right hip crease is tracking back. Once you feel stable and balanced in the low body, arms might come up overhead. And you'll notice, if you're so strong in your low body, as you reach your arms up, there's very little change in sensation. You're just turning on the arms as part of the pose. The torso stays mostly neutral. Take one more breath in here. And then you're going to tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and airplane your arms as you exhale, so you're in a low flying crescent lunge. This whole time, trying to keep, oh my gosh, your right hip very strong, and your left leg engaging. blades together. Take a breath in. Stay for your breath out. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, high crescent lunge. And exhale, chair pose at the top of your mat. Step your left foot forward, palms come to center. Your right leg should be burning a little bit. And just notice how that might affect a pose where you're symmetrical. Are you trying to compensate with the left leg? Stay with the sensation that's there. Get a little bit deeper into your hips. On an inhale, straighten your legs, arms reach up overhead. Listen, standing splits, right foot to the sky as you exhale, left foot is your base. Standing splits, this is a great place to do your own self-correction with your gaze. So tuck your chin all the way in towards your chest, look at your pelvis, and just notice if you're, for me, my right hip is way higher than my left. So to work on that, I'm going to try to shift my weight right, which will make the outer seam of my left leg and left side body longer, and lift through the inseam of my right leg and keep the outer hip of my right leg turned down. Oh my goodness. Push down into the big toe mound of your left foot. See if you can get a little higher in your right leg, but only the leg, not the right hip. Take one more inhale. If it's possible, land on the top of your right foot at the back of your mat as you exhale. Maybe you stay here. Maybe your hands come to the top of your left thigh. Push down to the top of your right foot. If it's available, maybe your arms reach forward or up overhead. So you're in a lunge on the top of your right foot. Take a big breath in. Exhale, lower the hands down. Roll over the right foot and straighten through both legs. So you're in a cat lunge or pyramid pose. Hug your left hip back here. You might even bring the thumb into your left hip flexor and pull it back. And stay very strong in the front of your right leg. Take one more inhale. Fold and soften the muscles in your face as you exhale. Plant your hands, inhale, step the left foot back. Maybe it hovers, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog, or cobra, breath in. Down dog, breath out. Left leg sweeps high to the sky on an inhale. Exhale, bend your left knee, open through your hip. Inhale, re-extend left leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step the foot through. Inhale, drop your right knee down. Arms sweep up overhead and pause, finding some self-adjustments here. It's helpful for me to bring my hands to my pelvis and pull the outer right hip up. And I feel all this activation and length on the front outer right hip. And then the left hip is sinking down and back. Get stronger through your right shin and your left heel. Maybe arms reach up. And just notice that, you're able to keep the upper body relatively neutral because all of the stability and balance is coming from the low body. You might find a little back bend here if it feels safe. Take one more inhale breath. As you exhale, tuck your back toes if they've untucked. Lift your back knee and send your arms back airplane so you're in low flying crescent lunge. Left hip pulling back, right leg is very strong. Light through your left toes. Keep lifting your right hip up and hugging your left hip back. You should feel like fire. And then arms sweep up overhead, high crescent lunge. Keep the lower half of your body the same. You might think about bending a little bit deeper into the left knee as you send your left hip back. One more breath in. Chair pose at the top of your mat as you breathe out, hands to heart. Sink weight into your heels, squeeze your legs together. On an inhale, straighten your legs, arms reach up. Exhale. As you exhale, your left leg sweeps high, standing splits. and pause. Man, as I fold, I just wobble all the way down, right around my hips. Just something to be aware of. I ignore these transitions all the time. Just think about them. So here, think about sending your weight more to the midline, which will mean shifting it left slightly. I find it helpful to move my left hand a little bit left, keeping my left hip down, and then lift through the inseam of your left leg. So your left hip stays low, and you're also thinking about sending your right hip back. So it's like you're lengthening your entire right side body, and as you do that, you might feel even more length in the calf, the Achilles tendon, and the hamstring. See if you can get your left leg a little bit higher. Inhale. As you exhale, land on the top of the left foot if it's available to you. You can do all this on the ball of the left foot as well. Just an added ankle stretch option. Maybe you stay here, pushing down in the top of your left foot. Maybe your hands come to the top of your right thigh. Maybe stay. Maybe arms reach up overhead. Holy thighs. Take one more big breath in. As you exhale, hands come down to frame the right foot. Roll over the left ankle and straighten through your right knee. Hug your right hip crease back by strengthening through the top of your right foot. Push the top of the right foot down, hug your right hip back so the entire right leg is working. Bow a little bit deeper if you can. Plant your hands on an inhale, right foot steps back, maybe it hovers. Exhale, maybe through a vinyasa or skip it. Leaning back, downward facing dog. If you're flipping your feet over as you transition to down dog, which foot are you flipping first? It's probably the same foot every time. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, start to bend your knees, look forward, float your feet to your hands at the top of your mat. So as much as you can, keep your heels grounded as you sink down into a squat. So your hips come down towards your heels, arms reach forward. My heels really want to lift up, but I'm working on keeping them grounded, which might mean you lift your upper body a little bit, send your weight further back, but it's difficult to stay balanced. Hug your belly in so you're finding strength from your core. You don't need to be gripping with the toes or your eyebrows. Take one more inhale. Sit back, both pose as you exhale. I'm warm. I don't know if it's the heat wave or that this is hard. I hope it's kind of hard. Feels like we're moving really slowly, but we're going to do like a flowy flow after this. So a little bit of core work, palms to your center, light through your chest, take a big breath in. Exhale, low boat. You can always do this with your forearms down. Inhale, squeeze it up. Exhale, low boat. Extend the legs, lower your chest. Inhale, squeeze up. Exhale, lower. This is a great time to have a soundtrack. Dun, 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 with the beat. How am I doing? Beatboxing with my breath. Last 5. You've got it. You can always take a break. You can always lower your forearms down. Try to keep your heart lifting. 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down to your back. Bring the soles of your feet together to touch. And release your hands back behind your head. Feet can be on the floor, pushing down very strongly, or feet can be hovering, feet pushing in towards each other strongly. Lift your chin, chest, and shoulders. Pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep squeezing your feet. Last 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll your femur bones around in your hip sockets a little bit. Ball and socket joint. So the reason this work is because our hips are designed to move in circles, and we're asking them to move very deliberately in one direction at a time. As you're ready, start to rock and roll on your spine and come up boat pose. We're doing one more round. You can bring the forearms to the mat if you need to. Maybe arms reach forward, maybe legs extend. Inhale, exhale, low boat. Hover heels and chest. Inhale, squeeze up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, squeeze. You've got this. For 5. Shorter one this time. 3, 2, and 1. Hover. Hold. Maybe butterfly the feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the feet down. Arms reach up overhead. We're going to meet in forward fold. If you would like to take a vinyasa, go for it. Or you can plant your feet. Maybe you don't need your hands and end up in a forward fold. I like to interlace my hands behind me and rinse out the shoulders a little. Find your breath. Once you're in forward fold, allow your hands to fall to the earth if they've lifted. Halfway lift is an inhale, and maybe you'll take crow pose. Plant your hands, bend your elbows back like chaturanga arms. So you're spinning your outer arms back. So you can bend the elbows straight back. The knees will come towards the armpits. Anywhere between your elbows and your armpits, doesn't matter. It'll depend on your body. And then start to shift your weight forward. The thing that helped me get into crow the first time was looking way further forward than I thought I needed to. Like 5 feet in front of my mat. And then your feet might lift. And this is another one where you can work on lifting your feet at the same time, as opposed to one foot and then the other, just to practice symmetry. When you're ready, this might take you back into chaturanga, or just step back into downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna flow 1 breath, 1 movement, and then I will have one more thing to do, then we'll cool down. So you got this, stick with it. On this part of class, just like flow it out, okay? Go with your breath, follow the rhythm of your body. Don't think too hard. Try to stay calm and centered. Inhale, sweep your right foot high to the sky. Exhale, bend your right knee, stack your hips. Inhale, extend your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge, right foot steps between your palms. Drop your left knee down, inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, tuck your left toes, lift your back knee, airplane your arms, leaning, flying, crescent. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, chair pose, step your left foot forward, palms come to heart center. Stay for your inhale. Sink a little bit deeper as you exhale. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, standing splits, right foot high to the sky. Inhale, lift your right heel. Exhale, land on the top of your right foot. Inhale, maybe arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, pyramid pose, roll over the right ankle straight through the left knee. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold a little deeper. Plant your hands, inhale, step the left foot back. Maybe it floats. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your left foot high to the sky. Exhale, bend your left knee open through your hip. Inhale, re-extend left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, drop your back knee down, sweep your arms up. Exhale, leaning, flying, crescent lunge. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, high crescent lunge. Exhale, chair pose at the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, sink and stabilize. Inhale, rise all the way to stand. Exhale, standing splits, left foot sweeps high. Inhale, dip higher through your left heel. Exhale, land on the top of your left foot. Inhale, maybe arms sweep up. Exhale, cat lunge, roll over the left foot, fold over the right leg. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, high plank, plant your hands, step the right foot back. Exhale, vinyasa. Inhale, up dog. Whew. Exhale, down dog. Take a full breath in. and a full breath out. Okay, one more time through a variation of that flow. Right foot sweeps high to the sky as an inhale breath. Bend your right knee, stack your hip, exhale. Stay here. This time you might walk your hands in slightly. And you might reach for your right foot with your left hand. Or you might just practice hovering the left hand above the mat. And this will really give you some awareness into where your center of gravity is and how you would need to activate the muscles around your pelvis to find balance. If you can capture the right foot with your left hand, you might kick into it. Release your left hand down. If it's lifted, extend your right leg high. Inhale. Exhale, right foot steps between your palms. As you transition, even notice you keep your right hip down and hug it into your chest to step it through. Drop your left knee down. Arms sweep up. Inhale. From here, wrap your right hand around your left wrist and exhale, gently pull to the right. So same thing, same integrity that you had in this pose when we held it the first time, where your right heel is activating, and you're just intentionally getting a lot longer through the left side body and the front of the left hip. Your right hip keeps hugging back, and this is working on getting length in your left leg and outer hip, so you can actually keep the left side of your pelvis high in these lunge poses. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, tuck your back toes, airplane your arms, low flying crescent lunge. Inhale, high lunge, arms sweep up. This time, exhale, warrior two. Spin your left heel down and sink into your right hip. And just an opportunity to explore the sensations in the pelvis in a new pose where you have your right hip externally rotating. The most effective way to externally rotate your right hip is to send the top of your right femur bone, which is in here, in this upper thigh, down towards your left heel. Oh my gosh. Where do you feel that? Inner thighs. Left hip flexor. And then extend your arms long if you can. Reverse your warrior as an inhale, right arm sweeps up and back. Exhale, keep your legs the same, extended side ankle. One more flow like that. Inhale, right arm reaches up and back. Exhale, right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches forward. This time, inhale, come up, five-pointed star, feet come parallel. Exhale, heels in, toes out, horse pose. And just pulse here. This is a nice way to just bring blood flow in and around your inner thighs and your outer hips. So just let this feel good. If you would like to have a little shoulder stretch with this, right arm sweeps under the left, eagle arms. Go as low as is safe in your body. Last three. Push your forearms away if you have this bind for two. And one. Feet come parallel, legs straighten, arms sweep up. Inhale. Warrior two, exhale. Inhale, reverse. Right arm sweeps up and back. Exhale, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. You'll lift up off of the left foot. Right arm reaches forward. Maybe use the floor for stability. So in contrast to standing splits, you're very intentionally opening the upper hip here, the lifted hip. So turn your left toes left. And as you're doing that, spin your right upper thigh right. So you're still sending the top of your right thigh back towards your left heel, just like we were doing in Warrior Two. Hug your right hip crease back. And then lower your left hand down, and you're in standing splits with your left foot high. Fold over the right leg, and just notice how you have in the left hip, how much it spins from open to close, okay? And then stay here, or you might start to sweep your right hand back and capture the top of your left foot with your right hand. If you're finding this, I have to really spin my right, I have to dump weight right to get the bind. So once I've gotten it, I really am intentionally sending my right hip back and shifting my weight left. So I'm more centered. Long right side body is another way to find that. Long right side body. Take one more inhale. Release the bind as you exhale and lower, landing on the top of your left foot at the back of the mat. We're not switching legs this time. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. High lunge on the top of your left foot. And then exhale, plant your hands, roll over the left foot. So you're in pyramid pose. And from here, walk your left foot in a little bit. So this time you want a full left footprint. It might help you to even out the hips to really shorten your stance. Shorten the distance between your feet lengthwise, but widen the distance widthwise. Keep hugging your right hip back and push down into the top of your left foot to bring the left hip forward. You can stay here, or left hand stays down, right hand comes to your low back, and you start to spin your chest open to the right. If you would like to, you might sweep your right arm up overhead. It's a lot on the right hip. Revolve triangle is no joke. And it's a good opportunity to see, like, if I were following all of the guidance of this class, can I actually access this pose with neutral hips, with stable, balanced hips? Alexis Johnson cannot. When you're ready, lower the right hand down, step the right foot back as an inhale. If you would like a vinyasa, take it. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Last flow, last side. Inhale, sweep your left foot high to the sky. Exhale, bend your left knee, open through your left hip, and pause. You can hang out here and do whatever feels good, or you might walk your hands in slightly and start to work your right hand back. It might just you might have tented fingertips like halfway towards the foot, or you might reach up and back and capture the top of your left foot. Woo! It's very hard. That's like not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of balance and awareness. You might try a couple of times. If you catch the bind, you'll try to kick the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot. Then release the bind if you have it. Extend your left leg high. Squeeze your left knee into your nose. Step your foot through, low lunge. Again, being mindful of that transition. Trying to keep your left hip as close as possible and your thigh into your chest. Drop your right knee down. Arms sweep up, inhale. Pause here, left hand around your right wrist. Gently side bend left. Keep your left heel really rooting. And your right thigh pushing down. Oh my gosh, this is so intense for me. If this isn't intense for you, get stronger through your left heel. Hug your left heel back. And that'll really open through the right hip flexor. Be gentle. Come back to center, inhale, lift the back knee. And exhale, step the right foot forward, chair pose. Stay for your inhale, sink down as you exhale. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. I missed something on this side. Oh yeah, step your right foot back so you're in that high lunge, and then spin your right heel down, warrior two. Just getting my flows mixed up. Deep bend in the left knee, pausing here for a couple of minutes. Maybe see if you can bring to mind anything that has resonated with you throughout the last 45 minutes of your day, about your pelvis, the strength of your legs, your body, even if it's just breathe, 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 breathe. Reverse your warriors, inhale, left arm reaches up and back. extended side angle, exhale. Inhale, left arm sweeps up and back. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, heels in, toes out. Horse pose. You can extend your arms out wide. Maybe left arm underneath the right for eagle arms. And here, just pulsing gently, maybe flowing a little side to side, maybe straightening the legs. Just like wowie zowie. Bodies are cool, they do so many things. A little hula action. Inhale, arms sweep out and up, legs come straight. Exhale, warrior two to the top of your mat. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, Ardha Chandrasana. Half moon pose. Left arm reaches forward, maybe it reaches down to the mat. Right leg lifts. This time your right toes are pointing right, and you're really spinning the right hip open. Try to send your left hip back. Think about getting longer through your left side body, and turn on the right glute. Keep spinning your left thigh left, and your left hip back. It should feel like a lot in the left leg. One more breath in. It's okay to fall out of poses as I demonstrate. Exhale, close your right shoulder down and your right hip down so you're in standing splits at the top of your mat. Ground down into the big toe mound of your left foot. Keep thinking about sending your left hip back and externally rotating your left thigh. Hug your left kneecap up so your left leg is really working. Take a breath in. And then maybe you start to bend into your right knee and capture the left foot with your left hand. Excuse me, the right foot with your left hand. If you do that, notice, like, am I capturing it with half moon hips? And if you are, what does it feel like to come back to standing splits hips and keep the bind? It means really long in your left side body and long through the back of your left leg. Wowie zowie. Release the bind if you have it as an inhale. Land on the top of your right foot at the back of your mat as an exhale. Arms sweep up overhead if that's okay. One inhale breath, high lunge, and exhale. Roll over the top of your back foot and straighten through the left knee. Blah, blah, blah. Adjust your stance so you get a full right footprint. And you can stay here, working on chest, collarbones tracking forward, and left hip tracking back. Maybe you bring your left hand to your low back and start to spin your shoulders left. And just explore, like, if you were to actually take revolve triangle with your left hip as low as your right hip, what would that look like? I have to compensate in the joints a lot, and that is what causes injury. If you're hyperextending in the knee or in the spine is where it happens for me. And then you'll lower your hands back down if they've lifted. Step your left foot back, maybe it hovers as you flow through a final vinyasa if you want it, leaning back in downward facing dog. Holy moly. On an inhale, roll your weight forward, come to high plank, and as you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. We're going to take belly down back bends. Whatever variation works for you, we're going to take 3 rounds. You can take cobra pose, which is just like this, pushing your feet down, lifting your thighs, and very gentle lift in the heart. You can take locust by reaching your fingertips back or maybe interlacing your hands at your low back if that feels safe. And in this variation, your feet can stay down for extra stability that I encourage, especially if you're working on stabilizing your hips, or you can lift the feet And then final option, you can capture the tops of your feet with your hands. Try to get the big toe side edges as opposed to the pinky toe side edges. And find floor boat, Vinyasa. So 3 rounds, hold each time for 3 to 5 breaths. You might take one pose and realize you want a different one next time. You can try all of them. Take 1 or 2 breaths in between each round. Stay very strong through your legs and your butt the whole time. At the end of your 3 rounds, just roll onto your back. Nothing fancy. Hug your knees into your chest. And find happy baby. You can capture the big toes with your peace fingers or hands under the outer edges of your feet. You can rock a little side to side. And before we find our final resting pose, just bring to mind one more time the anatomy of your pelvis. You have this very heavy bone at the bottom of your spine that your very big bones, your femurs, like nestle into and situate. And then you have all of these ligaments and tendons that keep the bone kind of safely connected in the socket. And then these huge muscles that flank that area, the quads, the glutes. And there's this very, very, very delicate balance between finding the appropriate strength to find stability in your skeleton and mobility, which is leanness and fluidity of muscles. So as you practice, just an opportunity to explore like what habits and tendencies in your anatomy do you continue to accommodate by ignoring them, and sometimes having an opportunity to like hyper focus and tune in to what's happening in my anatomy. Hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. If you would like any like final pose while you're on your back here, like a twist, letting your knees fall side to side, or an inversion, maybe shoulder stand, plow pose, or a seated forward fold if you want to rock up to a seat. Do whatever you need to do. And then slowly make your way to your final resting pose, Shavasana. As you come onto your back and allow your limbs to extend long, please take your time to get there. Scan your body, starting at your toes, going through the foot, the ankles, your legs, the pelvis, your belly, shoulders and arms, and invite a sinking feeling because of gravity, gently pulling the weight of your flesh, your bones down. And remember the feeling of what it means to release. You've been hyper-focused in your brain and concentrated. Hopefully there's also a mental release of, oh, I can just let go. No effort is needed for corpse pose. It is the absence of effort. I'll let you stay here as long as you can and need. I'll close class with you bringing my hands to my heart. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for practicing yoga. Happy Sunday. Namaste.